Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an epic chess event. It's Team USA versus Team Uzbekistan in Rapid and in Blitz. Why are we having this event? I have absolutely no idea, to be perfectly honest, but sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Team USA is Fabiano Caruana, Hikaru Nakamura, Levon Aronian, Wesley So, and Lenier Dominguez. And Team Uzbekistan is who you would think it is. It is Sendarov, Nodirbek Abdusatorov, Nodirbek Yakoboyev, Shamsidin Vokhidov, and Madaminov. All right, Madaminov, of course, Mukudin, the friend of Sendarov, training partner. Yeah, the players are going to play a round robin of Rapid and then a double round robin, so everybody plays everybody in the Blitz. Today's day one of the event. It is the Rapid portion, and I'm going to take you through the anime protagonist battles, including, of course, the battle Sendarov versus Hikaru. Cannot wait. First of all, that was in round two, so please accept this appetizer game. And we are going to look at 11 games of chess in this video, so there you go. Enjoy yourself. Pre-order a signed copy of that. That's the plug. All right. E4. All right. Madaminov versus Wesley So, E4, E5, and we have a Berlin. The time control is 15-minute with 10 seconds of bonus time. Madaminov plays D3, which is the anti-Berlin. He doesn't want the pawn captured, and then he plays C3. And as always in these structures, there are a million different things that can happen. Black can play D6, A6, A5, H6. White can play B4, A4, D4, Bishop G5, Knight D2, Knight F1, etc. Bishop E3 sometimes. But Wesley So likes to play these positions where he plays the most aggressive way, which is the move D5, and he actually does it immediately. And so the game is going to get spicy quite quickly. It opens up in the middle of the board. I mean, I've never seen this before. The pawn's just not even taken. You counterattack like this. Madaminov goes back. Knight A5 chases down the bishop. Wesley's just not taking the pawn in the middle of the board, and he finally does. And this is our position. White committed pawns this way, so he took on D5 and he took on C4. That allows black central space. E4 comes down with a crushing authority, but Knight D4 is right there. Wesley, still completely in his wheelhouse, a very dynamic position on the board, plays B5. I mean, look at this. This is no E4, E5 game that I've ever seen before. White's pieces are very passive. Black's pieces are pretty massive. And he's got the diagonals pointed down in this direction. Maybe he'll go to B7, maybe down to G4. Very sharp. Knight B3, Madaminov looking to kind of cool off the position a little bit. Wesley goes back to F8. Kind of a savage move. Not gonna lie, in this entire position, retreating the bishop to the home square is the top move of the computer. The only thing that black has developed is a knight. Nothing else is past the last rank of the board, yet black is in the game. Black is almost better, because the center is going to fall apart for white, and before he knows it, Wesley's going to be taking over. Wesley up on time here, and also, Wesley is one of the best Rapid players in the world. As far as I'm concerned, Wesley's a top 5. He'd probably be 4 or 5, all right, if we take all the best Rapid players in the world. But on any given day, he could be the best, really. When he plays dynamic chess, like, he is a really big problem. When Wesley is confident and not playing, too solid, he is a menace. And in this game, he just begins to take over. E3 is right there, threatening checkmate. The pawn is walking through, brings the queen back to D7. The knight comes in with crushing authority. And look at this. I mean, just beautiful dynamic play. Bishop under attack. The queen is under attack. Pawn is under pressure. Queen is pressuring everything. Bro, Wesley is winning this game from the last rank of the board. The only thing he has is a knight. The knight guards the bishop. There is nothing to be done here. Bishop B4 or rook E5 are good here for black. And it's just a matter of time until Wesley obtains a totally dominant position. It takes him a little bit of time to win because, it's Rapid and his opponent was doing his best surviving. But he picks up the pawns. The bishops are just the problem. This bishop has just been sitting here for the record. Can we just go back? That bishop returned to F8 and just stayed there. It stayed there. It stayed there for like 40 moves. It literally stayed there for 36 turns. 36. Pretty sure it went back on the 13th move. And Wesley cleans it up. The bishops ultimately lead to a checkmating attack against Madaminov. And USA struck first. USA struck in the first best of 4. There were 3 draws, and this was the only game that was decisive. So we go to the second round, all right? Uzbekistan has lost the first head-to-head. They lost 2.5, 1.5. Players rotate, right? They all kind of slide up and down, depending on who they're playing. And we have Sendarov, Hikaru. Now, When these two played in the candidates tournament, Sindarov won in emphatic fashion when he went on that completely ridiculous run where he also beat Fabi. In this game, Hikaru plays the Petrov defense, Sindarov plays d4, Hikaru takes on e4, bishop d3, and d5. This is an extremely solid line, all right? This is a line that has been played at length. I think here, instead of knight to c3, c4, and maybe queen h5 are also moves. Java here plays like this, and Hikaru castles. The idea here is that white gets an aggressive queen, and then white creates another threat over here, and black plays b6, and white is just slightly better. All right, white just, you know, queen h5, rook b1, rook e1. Hikaru's thinking for a little bit, plays very solid, and nothing is really happening, right? And now Java here plays a natural move. He plays c4. He wants to undouble his pawns. He wants to take, maybe, take again, get a bishop to this diagonal, have some attacking possibilities. The best move in this position for black is to play queen to f6. Hikaru spends a long time. I think he didn't like something. I think he misremembered something. I think he spent 8 minutes and 59 seconds in this position, which is obviously a crazy amount of time, right? Like, and ultimately he chose not just wrong, he ended up choosing very wrong. Because there are some moves here that are wrong. For instance, the move bishop e8 is wrong, but it's not like terrible, right? Queen h3, and I mean, you're not going to put your bishop there. That would be really stupid. That would be very passive. But, you know, there's wrong, and then there's apparently very wrong. And the move that Hikaru chose, which takes, putting the king over here, is nearly instantly losing. Nearly. The idea was to do this, bishop g5, and then play something like queen c7. But he misses the next move. Because his idea was obviously to create some counterplay and then, you know, prepare the move rook e8. But there is a move here that just wins immediately by knockout for Sindarov. Knockout. No questions asked. And that move is bishop f7. And at this point, black can resign. And maybe Hikaru thought here he had the trick bishop takes h2. And if queen h2, of course, there's rook f7. But white doesn't have to take the bishop. It is not checkers. And bishop f7 is really vicious because you have bishop g6. And there's just somehow no way to defend against the attack. There's no way. If you play bishop e8, I can even sacrifice my rook. And I'm not going to yell it, but, you know, actually, what am I talking about? You don't even play bishop g6. You can play bishop g6. Just take the rook. Jeez, I'm an idiot. Anyway, bishop h2 is what he went for, but Sindarov went here, and the game ends in emphatic fashion. Rook to d8, and Java here. Just a nice move, and when it's a king and two pawns covering up against the queen, a bishop, and a rook, and they're all just beating him because he owes money. Like, the king ran away, you know, Soprano style. It's not going to work. If you take, there's just bishop g6 or bishop g8. You can't stop mate. 21 moves. Sindarov, very nice. Bishop h7, the double bishops infiltrating. If king h7, you have bishop takes h6 check. And if the king goes here, don't hang your queen. Rook g7, king here. Bishop takes f4. You win the queen. You win everything. And Java here wins a game that I recapped in like less than 2 minutes. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, and that's really tough because Hikaru here was totally fine. You know, queen f6. Obviously, he didn't like something. He probably thought he did something wrong. Probably thought that he was going to be under pressure here. He's not exactly wrong. It is a very dangerous position for black, but it's okay. It's an okay position for black. Yeah, Java here wins. Now, that means Uzbekistan takes the lead in the second round. Remember, they play 4 rounds, okay? So they take the lead in the second round. It's all up to Wesley. You know, can he get a win for Team USA? This is a very age-old line in the English. It has been explored many, many times. It's completely equal for black with good play here. I think Wesley was actually the original player that played this in the US Championship like 5 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. This variation was played between him and Wonder Liang? Can't remember. But I think, yeah, Wesley might have played this with white or with black. That was kind of the original game. But the position is still quite complicated. You know, white has the 2 bishops, and white wants to open up the position. Volkidov gave away a pawn, but he ended up winning the pawn on b2 and then on a3, and this position is even. The only thing that white has here is the bishop pair and a slightly better pawn structure. And frankly, you could even argue this pawn is more of an asset for black than it is a liability. And Wesley is going to do what Wesley does. You saw Wesley in that previous game play a genius dynamic game with the black pieces, but Wesley is also, quite frankly, one of the most annoying chess players on planet Earth. Annoying. Because he's so good, and he puts a lot of pressure, and he's very good in practical, simple endgame type of positions. Not as good as Magnus, but close. And he is going to make this position very annoying. Vokhidov gave away the rook for the bishop and created what looks like a defensive fortress. But Wesley's going to poke and keep the position annoying. And Vokhidov underestimates this moment right here. He plays, he basically he just kind of like lost focus and played G6. Like, Wesley sort of faked that he was coming in with the king. And he got Vokhidov, you know, scared. And he didn't have to do anything here, but that's how rapid chess works. I mean, I played it recently. Your brain does crazy things. He was G6. And that pawn move just loses the game on the spot because rook D6, king here, bishop takes. And after pawn takes, you lose both pawns and you lose the game. Actually, I'm not even sure you have to take this pawn. You might even win with F6, but yeah, here, taking this pawn is bad, but nobody's going to do that. He's going to go king D4, bishop takes, rook G5, and this endgame will be losing because at some point you will go rook takes, like here, rook takes, or maybe rook A5, king G5, and then slowly, etc. And Vokhidov just either resigned or lost on time. Which means Team USA in the second round is tied now, and it comes down to this game. And in this game, I mean, this game was completely ridiculous. Najdorf Sicilian, one of the most aggressive lines chosen by Nodjerbek. And it just a crazy Najdorf where E5 is played, and then, you know, short castle F5. I mean, it looks like Nodjerbek is just gonna pummel Fabiano Caruana. He's going to hit him with uppercuts, and he's going to step back, throw the kick. Wide open position for black. Bishop takes F6, bishop H3, but Nodjerbek chooses wrong in this position. He doesn't take in the middle. He goes here. He doesn't take in the middle with the knight. He takes with the pawn. Misevaluates just how powerful Fabi's position is going to get, and Fabi is just in there. Knight on C4, Fe4, the queen takes on F6, but it is black who is up material. You are not going to be checkmating anybody here. Queen H6, Queen B6, and I think this is the move that Nodjerbek must have missed, because now he has to trade queens, or maybe not. Maybe he doesn't have to trade queens. He can get out of there, but the attack is gone. And here, Fabi needed to put the bishop on G4, attack the rook, and then continue the game, but he gets his bishop locked. Now he can't escape so easily with his bishop. He goes this way, and all of the advantage is gone. This was the moment here. He needed to go bishop G4, the rook would have gone like here, and then Fabi needed to go here, and after H3, the bishop at least is mobile. It can even go all the way back to C8. But by getting hit with G4, he gets his bishop trapped, and now the game is going to end in a draw. Some brilliant moves here. Queen sacrifices. And in the second round, the players made it 2-2, and the match was a draw. So the first round went to Team USA, then it was a draw in the second round, and we go to the third round, all right? Hikaru just suffering that tough defeat against Sandarov. You know, you can cry, you can get sad, or you can bounce back. Hikaru plays unbelievable, the Ponziani. I cannot believe it. This man Hikaru just played a Ponziani in a sanctioned tournament against an elite player. Actually, Shamsidin Vokhidov was on the Gotham Knights back when the Pro Chess League was around. He and Hikaru were teammates. Sourced by my good friend and the manager of the Gotham Knights at the time, International Master Alexander Ostrovsky, fantastic chess coach in New York City. If anybody's looking for a teacher for some reason, or a student, maybe you want to teach him. Anyway, Ponziani is a great opening, but, I mean, Vokhidov knows everything. He goes knight e4, and then here, I mean, the best line by far is bishop c5, and I think Vokhidov was just a little bit too afraid to play it. He goes knight b8, which is super lame. Not even knight e7, which is... Nobody has ever played this against me. I have played the Ponziani in like 100 Blitz games. Nobody has played this against me. Vokhidov did this because he was scared. I'm not even exaggerating. He did this because he was like, what the hell, this dude is playing the Ponziani against me? And then, you know, queen d4, and Hikaru just gets a good position from the opening. Hikaru just straight up gets a plus 0.8 position playing the Ponziani. The boy's got to play. Hikaru sacrifices his pawn to damage his pawn structure. Doesn't even play correctly after that. He should have went knight g4. Doesn't really matter because those doubled pawns are not very pretty. And Hikaru's going to put his knight on d4. He's going to play a nice positional game. Volkidov is better throughout, but he has to deal with this. That's not very easy to deal with. Hikaru just doing his thing, shuffling around, playing fast, playing confident. Maybe not confident, but definitely fast. And now Volkidov gives away his pawn. He's like, I don't want to have these doubled pawns. Let's make a draw. Hikaru's like, why would I make a draw when I can slowly grind you down here? Play on your nerves, play on your emotions. H4, H5. Look at this, a little bit of infiltration. We've seen Volkidov panic in low time against Wesley So. Is that going to happen again against Hikaru as his king is running around the board? It is. There was no need for Volkidov to allow this little position. He could have just calmly kept going back and forth, but he allows this. 2 pawns get captured, and Hikaru is going to win this game in a queen and bishop endgame because the black king is just so weak. And he's going to move around, and this is just a winning bishop endgame. There is nothing you can do here. I will advance. I will push the king back. I'm going to go win that pawn. Game's over. Game's over. Volkidov down in 2-time scrambles against the American veterans. So Hikaru wins now. This is round 3. Now Nodirbek is going to try to get a win for Team Uzbekistan. Right now, Team USA is leading in the 3rd round. We have an Italian, very aggressive Italian with d4 and e5. And now a main line, b5, knight e4 takes, bishop b6. All of this has been played by top players, including Wesley So, including Hikaru, I'm pretty sure, including Linier. Queen c2, takes, f6. Nobody's thinking. Nodirbek is trying to hit 17 minutes on the clock. He hits 17:07. The man started the game with 15 minutes on the clock. This is all opening preparation. h6 castles. Nodirbek is still barely thinking. Linier, now we are in an equal game, and we are going to play. Rook ae1. Queen d6. g3. It's all about the structure of the position, frankly, right? Rook c1, Nodirbek looking. What's he going to do? Repositions the bishop. And now we have this moment where he sacrifices the pawn to go here and take like this. Bishop's under pressure. Queenside's under pressure. If you play bishop b6 like this, I would have taken and ended up investing in my e-pawn. So we have this, and now that bishop is very ugly. e6 is still very nice. And Nodirbek is going to pick up a rook for a bishop and 2 pawns. Rook takes f8 would have lost here because of bishop d5. Black here needed to throw in bishop to c4 in between move. He goes here instead. And now he just doesn't have enough time. Linier only has, you know, a minute. And that's just not going to be good enough against somebody like Nodirbek, who plays extremely fast and extremely confidently. Nodirbek plays chess with a lot of swagger. And even though you might get close to equalizing, which in this game Linier does for a long time, he's around equal in this endgame, even though it's very tricky to play with a pawn disadvantage because white is just going to advance and advance. And it is a draw, but 30 seconds on the clock is never pleasant, and quite frankly, it's just a matter of time until the other person makes a breakthrough. Looks like it should be a draw at some moment. Here comes Nodirbek with the pawns. It's not even clear what black is doing wrong, by the way, right? Like, it looks like he's defending completely normally, but it's just not good enough. And Nodirbek, after some time, breaks down the defenses. He has this coming in, and he wins. He beats Linier purely on that clock and positional pressure. So for, again, it's close in round number 3, and it's all going to come down to who could get this. Can Uzbekistan get on the board? Sandarov, with that emphatic victory over Hikaru, plays an extremely dynamic line here with a3. By the way, b4, c6, I've never seen before. I've never seen the move c6. Have no idea what this move does. I actually have no idea. I don't know. I don't know what that move does. What is c6? Why would you play c6 here? What's the idea of that move? Maybe it's to block queen a4 check. I think that's the idea. I think there are some positions black can play like this. So for example, e5, take, bishop takes, queen a4 check. I think I just figured it out. I think the idea is that you stop all sorts of queen a4 business. And that's why Sandarov plays this move. And the game just gets really weird. I mean, f6 from Levon, g4, like what are we even looking at? fe5, gh5, and these 2 pawns just wall in this bishop, so the white bishop is never getting out. e3, rook g1. This looks like chess you play in your dreams. Like you play too much chess, you fell asleep, you're playing your 3rd grade science teacher in a chess game, but every time you lose, she's throwing candy at you. Like, I don't I don't know what you guys dream about, all right? That's a weird... I don't know why you would tell me about such a weird dream. Maybe you guys need therapy. All right? Really, I don't know. Anyway, a5, attacking the structure. c5, blocking black's light squared bishop. Queen comes out to b3, which is apparently a mistake. He takes here. I mean, this game is a heavyweight fight. This is a game with no structure, no athleticism, just two big guys throwing punches at each other, and one of them is going to connect. Sandarov takes, queen e7. There's a beautiful chaotic genius to all of this. You know, Sandarov opens up the middle of the board and then puts his king on d1, and he's ready to go rook e1. And on the 18th move of the game, just like you're taught in beginner's chess, long castle is played to get the king out of danger. Then queen g5 comes in, and this bishop still sucks, and this knight still sucks. And if Sandarov doesn't develop his pieces, he's going to lose the game, so he goes here. But now queen c5. And this bishop for white is just never, ever activating. And you can kind of tell from the time management, Levon felt much more comfortable playing this game with fire on the board. Just a natural kind of, thinking of a word. He has a natural... He's drawn. What was the word I'm looking for? Sometimes I forget words. Like, he has a natural affinity, a natural, whatever, you guys will tell me anyway. He's drawn more to these types of positions, you know. And he just plays a beautiful game. He just plays a beautiful game. And Sandarov plays the game without three pieces. I mean, if we're being honest, those pieces really never participated. By the time they got into the game, it was way too late. Structurally, it's 9 minutes to 13 seconds as well. And as we have seen, the person with the time advantage is going to win. Rook c1's mate. He's getting ladder mated in the middle of the board, and the knight is threatened. And this was a beautiful game from Levon. Absolutely the game of the day. It's not really the game of the day the way Sandarov beat Hikaru, because Hikaru just made a big mistake out of the opening. This was a beautiful game. This was an amazing game from Levon. And USA takes another round. So they are now up 4-0. Because every time they win, they get 2 points. It's a little different than normal chess scoring. So the last round of the day. All right. Poor guys from Uzbekistan. They might be jet lagged. All right. They might be just like suffering in the Miami humidity. And also they're in Miami, which is one of the worst places on the planet. Like, let's just keep it a buck. I don't know. Maybe not having a great time. All right. Maybe they're encountering lizards on the street, and I do mean the animals, because the people of Miami. I'm just kidding. If you like Miami, I don't care. I judge you only slightly. D4, D5, C4, C6, E3, and I'm just gonna kind of click through this game. This was another game where the opponent tried to get really dynamic, and you just can't, man. When Levon is on form, he's a problem. He's a big problem. A big problem. You can't. There's nothing you can do. And plays h5, which is just a gangster move. Gets an imbalanced position from the opening. And even though Yakuboyev actually was playing a very good game, you know, he was playing in the middle. He was making good trades. He was expanding. He's playing with energy. He's pushing Levon back. Levon is like a master kung fu fighter. Like, this man gets out of danger and strikes back when the moment is there. 15 minutes on the clock in a position where he has no business having that much time. Just absolutely no business. Like, Levon is playing so fast in the early stage of this game. Puts the queen on b6. He's a little bit worse, but Nojabek has half the time. Queen c6. Rook d1. This was the best moment right here of the game. Nojabek got a crushing attack going. Looked like he was just breaking through. Looks like he has like Levon completely on the ropes. The winning move here for white is unfindable. I think with just like 5 minutes on the clock, looking at the position, you can't play this. He plays this, which is extremely natural. The best move is bishop to d2. Bishop to d2. And you're attacking this pawn. If black defends the pawn, knight g5 is going to lead to mate. But if rook f8 is played, all you do is take the pawn. And you just have to have the patience that white is winning. You have to play very slow. Take the pawn, put the bishop back on c3, target the king, and you're going to win the game in the long run. That's not easy. That's not easy at all. I would never play that. Never. Of course you go here. Problem is, you trade the queens and you think I got the knight and the bishop, but the other guy has a passed c-pawn. And I have 40 seconds, which lowers your rating by like 200 points. And, well, it's not long until, despite Neuderbek's best efforts, he loses all of his advantage. And then it's not long before he loses the advantage completely and he's going to lose the game. And even though he tries his best, Levon sacrificed the rook, promotes his pawn to a queen, and a very good end of the day for the very experienced veteran of Team USA, the oldest player on the team by a couple of years. I think he's a couple of years older than Hikaru. Maybe 4 years older, three years older than Hikaru. 40 years of age, 41, 42 maybe. He's got that veteran experience, man. These Uzbek Tigers, they're meeting they're meeting their match with Levon. Now, will Team USA win 3 games in a row? 3 matches in a row and absolutely dominate? Let's find out. First, Nodirbek Abdusatorov versus Wesley So. A Sicilian defense. This time, Nodirbek is the one playing the Najdorf. You got to play the Najdorf. You got to have the Najdorf played against you. We have a threat of a draw, but a draw does not happen. You can play knight g4 and repeat. Bishop c4. This one's even for a while. Wesley inviting complications. f4, striking back. All right, Nodirbek, bishop takes b3, c takes b3. Very wild game. There's an attack here, there's an attack here, attack down this side, pressure in the middle. It's a game truly being played on all 3 sides of the board here. Both guys looking to navigate their way through the complexities. Wesley has to be brave. When Wesley is a lion, he eats in the savannah. He eats and saves room for dessert. All right, a3, knight h4. When his confidence is shaken a little bit, then maybe not. Now, pawn takes b4. He rolls the dice here a little bit. Nodirbek sacrificing a bishop, and Wesley gets on the roller coaster. He plays knight to a4, gives away the rook, and has the knight and the bishop for the rooks. But as we know, it's not always that simple. The endgame can determine a lot. The king safety can determine a lot. So, rook a e8. Nodirbek is looking for that endgame. He's looking for queen e4. He's looking to attack the pawns. It's not a position that has a lot of structure. And right here, Wesley starts going wrong. You know, it's actually Nodirbek who is creating some very big practical problems for the white king. This knight is kind of out of the game. It's not feeling particularly comfortable. Suddenly you're down a pawn, and now you're losing in every endgame. This is the other problem with the bishop and the knight for the rook. We've seen twice now in this recap, the bishop and the knight, they don't beat the rook in certain cases, and Wesley's 2 pawns fall, and meanwhile, the white king is still in danger. And this was just a very nice understanding of how to handle this material balance. And the game ends. King c3 is rook c1, but queen d3 is also rook c1. So Nodirbek gets a point back for Team Uzbekistan, and it all comes down to this. It all comes down to the pride of Uzbekistan, Javahir Sandarov, the challenger for the throne of chess. All right, the throne of swords, if you will, riding his dragon into India to see whether he can be victorious against Gukesh. Can he take down Linier Dominguez? It's a very, very methodical, maneuvering gioco piano. This nice little maneuver here, knight f6, knight h7, trading off the knights. Sandarov, all right, he's getting hot. He's getting hot. The rook is active. The bishop is under pressure. The knight is there. The queen's going to come around. Maybe at some point you're going to play g4, but still the position's very good for white. Knight f1. All right, Sandarov is looking for his moment. There it is. He has blown up the position against Dominguez. Can Dominguez put out the fire? Pawn takes. Pawn takes. He trades the bishops. The less pieces that Sandarov has, the less damage he can do. So we're looking to trade pieces with him, right? Okay, rooks, knights. But suddenly, this rook is faster. It has infiltrated a lot quicker. Rook d5 is putting pressure. Linier, under a lot of damage here. Under a lot of damage. What am I saying? Under a lot of pressure on the queen side. And there's a lot of damage to be done to those pawns. King to h2, rook to b2. Yeah, I mean, Javahir just like beautifully maneuvered in his rook. And before you know it, he just wins. Like, the position was just even. It was even, but he was up 5.5 minutes on the clock, and you just can't have that. Can't have that. You're going to lose. And, you know, queen e4 was wrong. He needed to go rook d1. He needed to bring his rook a little bit faster. It almost felt like he was trying to simplify the position because with less pieces on the board, Sandarov was less dangerous. Sandarov was like, bro, I can do it with one rook. One rook. Nothing else moved. Rook e2 paralyzing the position. Nice win from him. And definitely not Lenier's best showing. Like, let's be serious, but Lanier is a much stronger player, very good player, but Sindarov wins, and he ends the day with 2.5 out of 4. Lanier goes half out of the 3 games that he played, and after the first day of action, it is 5-3. So Team Uzbekistan won in the end, and 2 games were won in the Rapid. And tomorrow we have 8 rounds, so it's all blitz. Everybody plays everybody twice, and every match is 2 points. So I guess it's going to be 16 points up for grabs, right? So Uzbekistan will try to make a comeback. I have no idea why the tiebreak system is here, considering it's a head-to-head. They should just remove that. And yeah, don't know why this is going on, but I'm enjoying myself. That's all I have for you today. Get a signed copy before they're gone. I've been informed today there's 400 remaining. I thought there was 500 remaining last week, but I didn't realize they printed 3,000, not 2,000. There's 400 left. That's it. And it's done. And it's done. I'm going to stop talking about it. No, I won't, because, you know, we got to, but sign. And if you're in Australia, you can get a signed copy in Australia. We sent some books to Australia, Land Down Under, and in Canada as well, in case you don't want to pay shipping costs from the United States. That's all I have for you today. See you all tomorrow. You're great. Get out of here.